Here we are. Hello again. 1:36 p.m. Excuse me. Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Oh. $15 or 20 times, maybe between 10 and 15 or whatever. Probably most likely 15 to 20, 12 to 20 times. I've tried to put out my last video. Things have happened for me to get home, to start getting to work, to finally do what I was created to do in the very beginning. Shut up, stomach. That was over 2.8 plus quadrillion Earth years ago. It's actually it's well past that. It's so hard for me to do this anymore. It was just over 4 quadrillion Earth years ago that I was actually made. Lilith and Arae were made very strong for a reason and very loving. And when that huge field of original source energy that was already clean, 97% of the lower frequencies were removed, and the starting percentage of frequencies was 27.5. So you take a little over 97% of that 27.5% out, you're left with next to nothing. And then as the male and female, as that huge orb of clean, powerful, loving, and massive fortitude source energy, and it was huge, was pulled into 2 different parts, male and female. Excessive, even with the fact it was all excessive fortitude, most of that was the majority of that was pulled into what Arae was. About 74% maybe. But it was so much fortitude in there that other 25 plus percent that was left, still incredibly strong. Plus it was full source. And then those male and female parts were coming together. The strongest, most powerful parts of these two beings, they started coming together as a focal point. And then they were pulled out. The female part of the original first being pulled the original Lily out of Lilith. And then the original male part pulled me out of Arae. The same thing, the most dense, powerful parts. It was the focal point of Arae once it had settled down and come together. I've been waiting since the beginning to be able to perform my function, and as I grew by having lives and grew in understanding, I changed a little bit. To finally evolve into what I am today. This is my last life. Just because I've said I was going to make whatever, maybe 15 times I said I was going to make my last video and I didn't get to leave then, does not relate whatsoever to me ever being in a body again, because I never will. I can't do my job to serve and protect everyone and everything if any part of me is ever in a body. It's simple math. So that's why I'll never be in a body again. I have a job to do. I need to talk about a few things here. This is about uh, failed promises, um, apologies, uh, what you need to know about Deanna Ramirez Anaya and her family for the coming months and years, but coming months. Also, about two friends of mine from MUFON, Mutual UFO Network. They have their own individual interests too, but they are attached to MUFON. My two friends from there, Bill Kidd, Billy the Kid. He's strong and he's really cool, but it's Bill Kidd and Barry Gaunt. Barry Gaunt and Bill Kidd have already had the full DNA ICUC. I think I said cranked up earlier, and I need to state it was the full-blown DNA ICUC. And Barry is Arae spirit, Mara spirit that came from the body. I'm the primary Arae, the initial one. After 4 focal points came out of me, certain amount of time went by, and the whole energy body around me had become sentient. So I literally walked outside of it, and it was his own self. I kept growing, getting stronger, and everything else, and it kept developing too. Well, that's where Barry Gaunt comes from. And Bill is very unique. He's really powerful, ancient soul energy, first wave with angel frequencies in him. He's really cool. I also need to talk a little bit about other people that can crank you up. I'm going to do that first to get that out of the way. And about the possibility of things I've said before. I've said things and I speak basically about what they are, but as many of you know, excuse me, I've always been, or seemed like a scatterbrained individual. It's not that I'm scatterbrained, it's I've always been overloaded. When you can literally reach out and see everything as it is, and the teeny piece of you, the strongest part of you, all right, taken for granted, part of what I am, just like the strongest part of you is in your body. You can only utilize less than 1% of who you really are and what you can do. I can't do much more than that. Maybe right now, as far as energy, I'm a little over 2%. But it's more. But that that's because of what I am. I was made like this, and I've had more lives, and I've been beat up harder, more, and longer than anyone else. The more lives you have, the more understanding you have, the more knowledge you've dealt with, consumed, created understandings, and the greater your collection of understandings, the greater your wisdom. Numerologically speaking, data or knowledge is 8, understanding is 2. Wisdom would be relative to 9. I'm okay right now because I'm doing this video, but I've been having a real hard time with the shakes and stuff. I can't hardly get up to move 4 or 5 feet anymore. I do. I have help when I have to. So I've made promises that I'll never fail on because I knew I would do it when I'm out of the body. The only promises I failed on whatsoever are a few that I've made to a couple of people. And I can't even remember your names, but I just know that there's 2 or 3 people out there, hell, maybe even 4, that I've promised to send stones to and I forgot. There might not be any, but because I'm concerned about that, if I've promised to do that and I didn't, and these stones I'm talking about, I just said I'd send them to you free. If I have failed in that category, and don't bother writing Deanna about it, I'll take care of you when I'm out. When I'm free of this body and I'm myself again, just like you, I have total access to what I am because I finally am again what I am. Spirit, remember, you're not that body. You're inside that body. It's temporarily the clothing that you wear, but you can't take off. The car that you drive in, but the doors are welded shut, and same as the windows. And when you are finally free and yourself again and out of that body, you remember not just this life and everything about it. You have access to all your lives. I've told all of you that you're so much more than you've ever thought you were. I wasn't lying. I've made mistakes. I've screwed up. Everything does. How the hell do you think you'll learn? If you're afraid of making a mistake, what the hell? How are you going to get anywhere? It's good to be cautious, but don't, and so many of you, you've been made to be afraid. It was done to you. I've taken away almost all of that except for the little idiots running around right now. The second I'm out of this body, less than 1 second after I'm free of this body, completely, this body drops dead and I'm out. Less than a second after that, everything that comes after you that bothers you, whether it's trying to help and just is stupid, or whether it's trying to hurt you, will either be deleted or removed and kept from you. Those that don't comply, I will delete. It's not that I don't care what anyone thinks. In the end game, to keep me from doing what I need to do, sometimes telling you what I am, and I've never told anyone exactly the full extent of what I can do. I don't even know yet because I've changed. I've literally morphed 5 times while I was in this body. Nothing on the other side understands everything I can do yet, not the other parts of me. Won't know until I get out of here, but I know what I could already do. And I can do anything I want. I can create a universe and collapse it in about less than a second and a half. So am I making this video about myself? No, but I am telling you a few things about myself. I guess mostly I'm talking about things I feel that I've failed at. I don't mind saying that. I need to progress, to move forward. I need to learn. And all of us, when we're in a body, we're controlled. I don't like saying that, but it's true. I don't like saying it because it's wrong, and that's not going to be the way it is anymore. First, on the other side, anything that goes after anything else that's spirit, anything else that's spirit that goes after a physical body will be stopped, and if necessary, or if it's done it 2-3 times, will be deleted permanently. Period. By me. How about that? Somebody wants to say that I'm arrogant or I'm a nut or anything. Folks, help yourself. It doesn't matter. In that regard, I don't care. I'm happy when people remember me and know me. And I'm happy that over time people can hopefully understand what it is I do. But it's not necessary. It doesn't matter. I've never wanted a thanks for anything. It's not an arrogance. It's nothing, anything like that. I'm different. I'm something outside of normal creation, but that's fine. The field literally is part of me since May of 2013, and it's been around. It's been through our solar system, but it's a lot more than that now, because there's almost nothing left of me. Those people I've cranked up since I've been getting so sick and falling away, they feel me. You know, I'm delicate, but I'm very strong. They feel me hard right away, but not too hard. And the older they are, the softer it is. When people get cranked up, you get cranked up at an early age. You get a lot more out of it. Okay. And those of you that I've failed on a promise, I'll take care of that tenfold. You will receive 10 times, over 10 times what I failed to, over what my failed promise is. Now about people cranking you up. Let's go there real quick. I'm afraid I might have misled some people that aren't source. But let me start by saying one thing. The first thing I need to tell you, in order for someone to crank you up and actually give you a real crank up, number one, they have to be source. They have to be source, number one. If you weren't initially created as source, then there's no way I can crank you up, which is the second condition, to make you strong enough to do this while you're in a body. That's number one. Now, there's a lot of people I've gone into that are not source. They're incredibly strong, and I've told them, I said, you want to go into someone and crank them up, do whatever you want. Go in there, give it your max, see how much you can do. But they can't put source energy of their own and put it inside you, because number one, what they're putting inside you, it's not source. There's some source to it, but the source that I put in them to make them stronger, it can't be taken out of their body and put in yours, because I gave it to them. I'm huge. I'm myself, who I am, not this body. There's never been anything with my power level or size, strength, or anything like that. But I can't just keep taking away at myself. Those of you that I've cranked up, I gave you a part of myself. And I've mentioned before, and it's true, when I get out of here, as soon as things are settled down, all the other souls, in essence, angels, others, are going to receive extra source energy. I have a stockpile of clean source energy, and I'm going to make it stronger. I have two of them, one male and one female. And I'm going to divvy that out into everyone to make them stronger, because you need to be. The original first being was alone. It had to make itself male and female. Then it released smaller parts of itself. The souls were the smallest parts when you were first released, and almost everything is soul. But you have grown, become much bigger, much stronger, and you have great wisdom from all this BS, the crap these horrible lives that you've been put through. Wonderful moments in them, yes. Over abusive and wrong, definitely. But these four new first beings, about 2,000 years from now, when they start having lives in this dimension, in this universe, they have to. They're strong. They're not going to split in half. The original first being did it because it was alone. It needed company. So they're going to be stronger than the others that came out, except for the other original clean source. Nothing will ever be as strong as I am. I'm not breaking my arm, patting myself in the back. It's a fact. And no one's going to be having these hard lives, abusive lives, and no one's going to be having physical body lives, almost no one. Just those that need to train and get stronger to serve and protect. And they're part of my immediate family, from the primary Lily and I. And they're going to release parts of themselves. Some of them already have. So, now, if they go into you to work on you with energy, you can feel them. If they go into you to remove energy blocks and stuff, the second part of the of what it takes to have for someone to give you crank up, I told you the first part, they have to be originally sourced. The second part is the field has to allow it. Well, if they're source, and I've made them, and I have to make them stronger. So if they're source, and number two, I've made them strong enough to do it, then as long as they have their head in the right place, then they're going to be not just be allowed to, they're going to have any help they need to make sure they can crank you up. But the others that aren't, they can go inside you where you have blocks and stuff. And if they're working on you, doing energy work, and you have a block, myself as source, I'm going to move past those blocks and open them up. And then the rest of then through the field, which is it's an inner part of the field which is closer to me, that part will go through the field and actually remove blocks. So I would advise them not to call it a crank up, but call it, modify it a little bit to express that. Will they be able to do some very powerful energy work on you? Most very definitely. But they cannot take their own source out of themselves with a little bit of me from the field and put it inside you, because they were not originally sourced. So number one, for someone to give you a crank up, they have to be sourced. Number two, they have to be cranked up by me. Number one, they have to be sourced, energy inside, and have be mentally where they need to be. And then number two, I have to crank them up, make them stronger. But from the other side, it'll just happen when they're ready. I'll just crank them up, make them stronger. And also, they have to come. The field has to, allow it. It has to come through me, and I'll know when they're ready. I think I've said. Wow. I think I said everything I needed to on that. I have to hurry with the rest of this. Back to MUFON. Barry, if he so chooses, will be doing crank ups for people. There's a lot of other source people that'll be doing crank ups. The reason why I said I don't intend this to be my last video, it's not just that I, don't want to say that again. In my last video, I said don't expect to hear from me again. I didn't say it was my last, because this keeps happening. When it comes to fortitude, I am relentless. Deanna has to not feed me with a spoon, but she's taking care of me. I can't do most things for myself. I can walk downstairs, work on a computer, and I just send an email out to someone. Don't start sending emails. They won't. My own reason, I had to send an email. My hands are shaking so bad I couldn't hardly type. As soon as I hang up on this video, I'll start shaking crazy again. It's time. It's overdue. So anyway, I promised MUFON that I was going to get into the Skinwalker Ranch and make a video about it. So I'm going to talk to you about that in just a minute. I told them I do a video where I take the video, I rented it, or they say own it, whatever, own the right to watch it on Amazon.com. It's Hunt for the Skinwalker, I think, Skinwalker Ranch. The people involved, the people that own it right now, which is a group of the NSA, but it's above their pay grade, so to speak. It's the top and off to the side. It's been separating is what people call MIB, Men in Black. It's a lot more than just that basic thing. They own the Skinwalker Ranch now, out in I believe it's Utah, northeast Utah. Anyway, there's a multiple bunch of stuff happening there. I guess I'll tell you a little bit about it first. But anyway, on that video, it says Hunt for the Skinwalker, or something like that. It's got a picture on it of, I'll do this backwards so it looks right going to you. It's like an animal's mouth, almost like a house on top of it, and goes down this kind of brown. Looks like it's made of boards and dirt and stuff. It's got its mouth open a little bit. Hunt for the Skinwalker, whatever. It's about a little under like $9.95 or something if you're Amazon Prime. But you can, wherever you can find it. If it's important to you, and you can spend it, $10 to have it, not just to rent it and watch it once, but to listen to it, watch it, listen to what I tell you about it, and then take yourself inside, see what you can see. You'll see different things that I can't. Now, what does that mean? Well, you're going to have help seeing it, number one, at least after I'm gone. I'm looking at this with, my nerves are starting to twitch again. I'm doing this with Deanna, okay? Deanna is a very strong seer. I'm jumping around a little bit, but when Deanna starts doing her DNA ICUCs, I'll probably say this again when I go back into talking about her and the family. Not the Source family, but I'll talk about that too very briefly, but the Ramirez Anayas family. I'm not part of this body's not part of their family by birth, but they're a part of my family in many ways. Well, again, back to that later, but with Deanna, she doesn't like to go around and look into people's personal lives and stuff like that. When she has DNA ICUC consultations, it'll be marked as the energy work being free, as it always is, and what you pay for is a regular consult. We were pushed into doing things like that. Originally, I was told that's how it had to be, to accept credit cards and stuff like that. And of course, Deanna just takes PayPal and and whatever, that's her thing. She doesn't take credit cards. When you give a consultation and you give your opinion, once you've given it, they have it. So they're paying you for your opinion, for your words, for your thoughts, for your wisdom. And that's what Deanna will tell you, what she sees, what's readily available to you. She'll do the DNA ICUC on you. And Deanna is very unique. She's from the original Lily and I. She's incredibly powerful. She loves unicorns, but she's got a real hard tie into dragons. The primary Lily, she's incredibly powerful. She's had over 8.9 trillion lives. I've had the most at over 10.846. We're strong as hell. When we release these source beings from ourselves, it's when the third wave of souls was 80% released. When she came out, when she was released, it just happenstance what frequencies came out. She's more, her and her source mate, spirit mate, are more animal essence part of source than any other separate part of source. Source has all the original frequencies within it, and more, and more. About 40% of what source is has never been inside of any type of physical form. Almost known as source. But of what does exist, there's a lot here. I gotta jump back to the MUFON thing here real quick. I said there's another video coming. I'm gonna do everything I can to get it done, but Deanna and I are looking at the ranch, everything that's happened, and I'm going to use that video, and I'm going to go through the video and take different points, reference points within it, where I'll tell you the time, the minutes and seconds. I can't take their video and just put it on the internet and take parts of it and do it, because that's I don't know what they call plagiarism or copyright infringement. It's wrong, whatever name there is for it. It's wrong for me to do. I don't have their permission. But I will take the time when they said something, talk about what they said, and explain what was going on. That way, if you get the video, it's like an hour and 14 minutes, 41 minutes. I think it's an hour and 14 minutes and 14 seconds. Fours and ones is what it is. I explained some of the stuff. Their head biologist, whatever guy, scientist, leader of, I don't know if it was NIDS, and I think it was NIDS, the NIDS part. I'm starting to go into too much detail, but anyway, at one part, the 4 large bulls that the original family had on the ranch, they sold it in 1996 to Robert T. Bigelow, who's awesome man. They had 4 huge bulls, and the bulls were there, and when they drove by the family, and then they went back by 20-30 minutes or something later, whatever it was, and the bulls were gone. And next thing you know, they were in, they found them inside a trailer, a closed trailer. It was like a mobile home, gutted, basically that kind of size. You'll see it in the video. They show you. And they were all inside there, and they were all being calm. These huge bulls, I don't know, they're over a ton. They're huge. They're strong, aggressive. You can't get 4 of those to sit in one of those things on their own, let alone with 3 other bulls. So when they opened the door and found the bulls, then all of a sudden the bulls woke up, went crazy, kicking the place, almost destroyed it, trying to get out. But they immediately got out. When you watch the video, you'll see for yourself. You don't see the bulls there and coming out. You hear about what had happened. And then there's a very strong fencing around it. It's just solid steel bars that are welded together. You can call it a fence, but it's a cage, but it's just not fully enclosed. But it's made to keep those powerful animals in there. And the fence was magnetized for a while and then away, and they're all totally clueless, and I found that to be a little humorous, but more sad that they couldn't even understand that. UFOs they manipulate the field of gravity around them. That's how they move. That's how they move from one planet to another. They take off really fast because when they're on the way from one planet to another, they literally use the gravity to make us hard to push as fast as possible, as hard as possible, directing themselves towards another planet or another direction. It's not that they can't move around back and forth, but that's the quickest, easiest way for them to move, is to use the planet's gravity. Well, when a planet's gravity has got to do with, it has some properties from the physical planet, that from the physical body that's spinning, creating its own gravitational fields, or field within it. It manipulates that field. When you do that, you're dealing with strong electromagnetic properties. I'll explain more about it later, how the bulls got in there and what happened, but that's in the next video. And if I can't make it, don't bitch. I'm doing everything I can. If I only cared about myself the first time I said that I was making my last video, I would not have made another one. But I'm here for a job, for a reason. I said, you can't stop me. This body will die, but then finally I'm free to do what I'm supposed to do. And it's full amount, full context, whatever. Anyway, because they levitated the bulls into the that's not all they did, but because they used anti-gravity to put the bulls in there, to lift them up physically and put them in there. That's a strong electromagnetic disturbance. That's a strong electromagnetic field that they create to overcome the established, existing electromagnetic field, which is gravity. And because of that strong electromagnetic field that they created, what happens when you do that with metal around? You create a magnet. You get an electrical wire, you wrap it around a nail, a whole bunch of windings, and then you attach both ends to a battery. And you'll find out that if you take a small piece of metal, put it up to that nail, it's magnetic. Well, that's all it is. I mean, I see these things. I know it. I really enjoy Deanna helping me out. Anyway, on that MUFON video coming, I'll break down everything I can for you. But I'm doing it also with Deanna's help. People, there's nothing left of me. There's almost nothing in this body. That doesn't mean I can't see anything, but man, this is hard. And Deanna is incredibly powerful. Now back to Deanna. And one last thing about this video I'm doing. I want everyone to have this information. I want to give you at least enough information for you to look at it and then start using your abilities to see more. All these things that you see I post on these videos, the spheres, the books. Jay just does his stuff to make commercials to sell his own products. People, I made this, designed it, and created it for you. for you to use to become as much as you can. Those of you that have these fears, when you take them, when you have relationships with other people and they're in the house, it helps make them stronger. Some people have enough money where they'll, give one as a gift. We've done that before. That's happened before. These stones. This is one I really like right now. I think we call this malite because it's got lapis, it's got malachite, it's got azurite, and it's got lapis, so that's MAL, which is, it could be short for malachite, but it's not. It's malite. Here's some of the azurite. Okay, there's some more of it. There's lapis in here, and the green, you can see the green. The green is malachite. It's a very strong combination that helps to hit your brain. These spheres that I made, I pulled that to have it close at me because I just was drawn to it. I've cranked those things up with myself and Deanna. That makes them much. It makes them. Let's just say it's over 300% stronger than what they are anyway. Star Essonite cranks up your body over 1,000%. That's very strong, but that's Star Essonite that Deanna and I have cranked up. When you find Star Essonite on its own, it's not that strong. However, it's still stronger than any other stone you'll find on the planet. And there's enough of it around where you can find it for yourself. Book 3, I teach you how to talk to stone. That'll help you, and plus all the videos I've done. Plus on the website, especially, thespiritualfoundation.com. It's Deanna's website, not mine. She owns the company and everything else. So I guess my name's still attached to the website because I originally made it. But whatever, everything goes to her, which that isn't already in her name, which almost everything is. House, car, and everything, all that big stuff has been, my copyrights, everything's taken care of for the most part. That way nothing can happen. Anyway, in book 3, I know for a fact, I think I did it in book 2 also. I teach you how to talk to stone. It might even be in book 1. I don't know. I can't remember. I know it's in 3 though. We can't just offer that information for free because we spent many thousands of dollars to make all this stuff happen. Deanna, myself, with Deanna's help, she had a lot to do with it. Together, we've spent over $80,000 just with lawyers to keep everything over here at the other side screwing with us. Of course, my sister, she'll get what she deserves. That's coming soon. People who are going against the forward movement of a free creation will be stopped, if necessary, deleted. And don't expect much more than a second chance, if even that. And I'm not talking to you that are watching this video unless it's maybe 1%. Less than that. I'm getting about 1%. People watching, getting mad. It's weird. A bunch of stuff just moved outside. Moved away as soon as I looked at it. Spirit in the second dimension. But anyway, I'm trying to get away from that other stuff, but that's one promise I have no problem keeping, is because it's something I know I'm going to do. And nothing's going to stop this. If anyone thinks I've gone through all this crap and not for a reason, then you're sadly mistaken. And I don't have a whole lot of hope in me. That wasn't part of what I was made of, frequencies of hope, but I have some. And my intention, what I want to see happen, and there is a little hope in there, is that you'll take the information I've given you and offered and utilize it to become as strong as you can be. These fears and everything, Deanna and I just made one. It's special. I cranked it up so hard. It's literally, Deanna cranks it up and then I crank it up. It's literally going out 35-foot radius. When this body's dead and I'm gone and the field gets so much stronger, I'll be able to do so much more than what I can now. I'm not even about what, 2% of what I should be right now. But that includes using some of my energy outside of my body, which I can't just control and do what I want with until I'm out of here. Then I bond with it and I'm in control. Now the thing about Deanna's energy, 40% of Deanna's spirit, 40% of, I've said this a bunch of times, but wow. There's only a few, but there's a few people that can't wait till I go, and they have no idea how much more I want to be out of this body than they want me out. It's kind of funny sometimes. Deanna's energy, her spirit, not her energy, but her spirit, is over 99% female. She comes from the primary Lily eye, but her spirit, the thickness of who she is there's not even 1% that came from me. But her energy, an exact solid 40% of her energy is my energy. That makes her incredibly powerful for one of our children, from one of their primary Lillianized children. So it's like children, it's not really children, but having come from us is the proper way to say it. That's the tired human part of me talking, I guess. It's only in her and her spirit mate, her source mate. No one else has that kind of divide. What he is incredibly strong male energy. He's incredibly powerful. He's soon to be out of his body. He'll be out very soon and helping Deanna as himself spirit. But anyway, when the female source spirit has all the different fields of source essence, has all the different fields in it. There's animal, plant, human, fey, femen, and then there's universal. Now the universal source energy is a combination of male and female, just like everything else, but it's a little different because male universal spirit is what goes into stars. Planets only receive female universal essence. So although Deanna has my male power with my male frequencies, my power level, but it's my energy, so she has she has star energy inside her, and it's not so much, there's a certain amount of it, she has more star energy in her than normal, not spirit, but energy. But she has massive dragon energy inside her. Lily, the primary lily, and generally speaking for lilies, they're more unicorn than dragon. And myself, the Arae energy, and other parts of myself that are out there, they have more dragon than unicorn. But with Deanna, she has a strong amount of star energy in her, but an incredibly strong amount of planetary universal essence inside her. So when she goes to work on you healing, this is to help you heal. Has it happened before that source has actually blown cancer out of someone? Yes, sure has. Only one time in my life. Will it happen again from time to time? It will, but it'll be very rare as far as removing all of it. But I'm telling you, what's coming is an open book. I can't tell you how good things are going to get, but I'm telling you it's going to be great. You'll be having lives like you've always wanted to have and better. You're just going to light your lives and existence. It just starts opening up as your normal self. Your real self is spirit, and when you're in a body. And that includes the physical bodies as well as the spirit energetic bodies coming. They're not spirit, they're energetic bodies. Much like the Fey bodies. You'll be spirit, but if you'll be energy, but if you want, you can make yourself physical. You just won't be able to maintain it long. Just like this body won't be maintained much longer. I had my heart stress test yesterday, and it was much softer than the one I had in 2005, but it did what it needed to do. I came to agreement with 8 different parts of myself out of the body. These different parts of me, which almost like parts of an onion. Like layers. About getting myself out of the body, and it's to hopefully, but maybe not, finish this last video, but then it's time for all of them to get together and rip me out of this body. We made that agreement. It was a known thing, and I knew it was a known thing. The very next day, and I could feel them all working on me. I gotta go. I got stuff I gotta do. Don't ever tell me what to do. Tell me if you need something, but don't ever tell me what you think I have to do, because you're not gonna like the answer you get. But I was created to do that, to serve everyone. Not make your life a wonderful, beautiful thing and make you happy. But it's to make you happier than what you are and take care of you. To control you, only parameters that involve not abusing anything else. If you try to go somewhere you don't belong, the other side of negativity, of lower frequencies, the other side of lower frequencies, or the first dimension, or a couple of the dimensions I've made, you go there, you'll be stopped. You won't be hurt, you'll be stopped. But if you keep trying to go there, you'll be thrown away so hard that you'll never want to do it again. That's nothing. See, it's time. All of you had your own lives. You've been controlled. All your lives have been controlled. You've been beat up and abused. You haven't been free to have the lives you want. All that's changing. You don't need to be chaperoned. You don't need to be controlled. You need to have a fence put up so you don't fall off a cliff and die or hurt yourself. Other than that, no, nothing. You have to be free to be yourself and express yourself and learn and grow into who you really are. That's part of the new law. And anything that tries to stop that, anything that tries to interfere with you, will be stopped. First thing is creating that on the other side. The second one is to bring it here into the physical world. Are we getting close to the doctor's appointment?
Yeah, it's in 30 minutes because according to the schedule.
Okay, it's 2 o'clock?
At 3, and it's 2:30.
Oh, it's okay, 15 minutes. Thanks, honey. So it's about 5 minutes. Okay, all right, that's done. I told you this other video. I'm going to go into it, and I'm going to talk. I'm going to stop it at this minute and so many seconds, and I'm going to say, this person said this. You go to it, listen, and then you listen to what I say about it. I'm helping you understand. I'm helping MUFON understand. What's that? I will tell you this about that. What's there? I've told you. Well, I've told you about a ship that's underneath Antarctica, a huge one. It's pretty much, it won't run, but it's been fortified. It's a base. It's a living quarter, and it's there's commerce that happens down there. That came here well over 1.2 million years ago, and it hasn't left. And it can't leave now. If it ever leaves, it'll have to be pulled out, but I'm guessing it's probably going to stay here for a long time. What's down at the ranch has been here for over 1.12 million years. Over 1.1 million years. So there's scientific experiments going on. The folks on the other side run all over the place. People that have had lives there and been screwed with are out. The experiments working, pulling people and animals and beings through time, genetic manipulation, all kinds of stuff's been going on there. We'll talk about that in the video. Now, quick, to try and finish up the video with with I know what I need to talk about. With regards to the family, I've said it before. Oh, anyway, to finish with Deanna. When she gives someone a crank up, she's getting all those female source frequencies. Very strong planetary essence, which is female universal essence. That helps in healing. It helps physically heal bodies. But her energy has a weird, very unique balance to it. You're not going to find anywhere else, because 40% of her energy is mine. So even though you don't have all those male frequencies, you have that male power and dragon energy, which makes it unique. So there's other very strong people here. There's 4 people that came from the primary lily. There's 4 people that, beings in body that came, well, there's 4 beings that came from me, primary Arae, the original thing. And there's some here on both sides. Deanna's nephew, Ignacio, he's the second primary source focal point to come out of me. So he's the third of the primary Araes. Third of the primary Arae group. He's powerful as hell. The 4th one is in a body somewhere else, another planet. The 5th one is Raj. You'll meet Raj soon. The 2nd one, or the number 2, which is actually the first one to come out of me. He's already inside one of the bodies that one of our children the children that was made from Deanna and me, for sperm and egg, to be blunt. And its DNA has been manipulated and cleaned, and he's a powerhouse. But all source, what came from Lily and I is very strong. Okay, now the family, Deanna's niece. I won't give you her name right now, but she's awesome, and she's source from Lily and I. The family is so strong, incredibly strong soul, and strong essence. They are the spiritual foundation. I made it for them to carry all this on, and it's leaving this planet. Okay, soon, 8 years from now, there'll be locations. Actually, one of them already exists off planet. So anyway, that's time for me to get out of here. For any person I've talked to that isn't source, I've said push your abilities as far as you can go, because I know you're being good with it. You'll do good with it. I didn't mean, if you felt it, I didn't mean to insinuate that you could actually do a full regular crank up. But can you help and do stuff other people cannot? Hell yes. And that's why I said just push it, see how far you can go. So for anyone in that field that I've related to that, you have my apology. For anyone I said I'd send a stone to, whatever, you have my apology there too. But those of you that are in either of these two categories, I'm there helping you. I just need to be free. I need to be myself again. So that video about that's a promise. I made Bill and Barry from MUFON about Skinwalker Ranch, and I'll mention some other thing with ECETI and all, and also the thing with, I'm going to relate the thing with Skinwalker Ranch when it was bought by what happened when it was bought by Robert T. Bigelow, and then when it was sold to this outer edge of MIB, who own it now, when that happened in 2016, that was when what happened. Look at my videos. I'll put them up by name. That's when I went ahead and, well, that's I was involved with the Drock and the Nantids and some of the others when they physically, they did all the physical work. When they literally removed the problematic Anunnaki that were here on this planet. Anunnaki are awesome, cool, incredible beings, beautiful people. The ones that came here were the crap of the crop. Okay, they were problematic people, but there's a whole lot of them that were here. The vast majority of them that were here on the planet are awesome people. Some of them are going to stay and help. They were prisoners in their own group, of their own family. All right, folks. I love you. Take care. And I'm going to do everything I can to get that last video out. And sooner or later, it will actually be the last video, because I just can't I can't go anymore. I'll never stop. So, take care, folks.